Hello and welcome to the Channel 5 News. I am Idona Jean-Baptiste. In the headlines, Trinidad and Tobago objects to Dominica's request to temporarily waive its OAS dues as it recovers from Hurricane Maria. Port workers reject salary proposal ahead of next week's meeting with port management. And Cricket Australia hands down a 12-month ban to players in ball tampering controversy. The details of these and other stories coming up.
There are signs everywhere. Pay attention whether you're male or female. Visit your health center to get screened. It's a preliminary test to determine if you are exposed to the HIV virus, an STI, or tuberculosis. Some people who are HIV positive also have tuberculosis. But there's hope. Tuberculosis can be cured. And yes, you can live a full life with HIV. Talk to your doctor. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB, HIV. Encourage everyone to get tested.
Welcome back. Dominica's permanent representative to the OAS says Trinidad's objection to a request for the OAS to excuse Dominica's membership fees for a year is not a big deal. Dominica's appeal for other OAS member states to support its request to waive the island's quota contributions to the OAS for 2018 and 2019 came at a recent meeting of the Assembly by the country's first secretary to the OAS, Judith Ann Roll. While the request was largely supported, the government of Trinidad and Tobago objected, instead recommending the body considers a suspension of payment for Dominica's contributions. However, Dominica's permanent representative to the OAS, Dr. Vince Henderson, says its sister CARICOM nation's objection did not prevent the motion from being passed.
Member states really overwhelmingly supported our request. It had gone through the first committee phase that was approved and then to the Permanent Council. Of course, one member state in particular, Trinidad and Tobago, raised some concerns about granting a waiver to Dominica. And I think they explained why they felt that the waiver should not have been granted. But we appreciate the support of member states, including the government of Trinidad and Tobago, for having responded earlier to our needs after the passage of Hurricane Maria. But we understand in these matters that sometimes governments do put forward their own positions, and that was one of those instances where a member state felt that perhaps the matter should have been handled differently.
Dr. Henderson says there are cases where member states will have a differing view and they have every right to express it.
I don't see any reason to be shocked. If a member state has a concern, they should feel free to put it forward. I don't think it wasn't any personal attack.
But do you understand the Trinidad's justification, though?
If it wants to be the only member state to bring that up, that's a matter for them. But we want to thank the 32 other members of the OAS, especially, the other member states of CARICOM and all the member states of Latin America that felt that it was a justified and reasonable request in the circumstances.
The circumstances that brought Dominica to table this motion to the OAS meeting comes as the country is facing an over 220% loss in its GDP post-Hurricane Maria.
We did not want to default. That's what we're trying to avoid. We didn't want to have any delays in payment or have any default to lose our voting rights on matters that are of importance to us. And therefore, we made the request. And we're grateful that all the member states saw it necessary to support that request.
What's the value of the quotas by each member state we're talking about, specific to Dominica?
And this is why it's even I think it's important that we even have this conversation because it's only about $25,000 US. And that is something that the government of Dominica would have definitely made good its commitment. But the request was made, especially in line with the normal request for response from the OAS for assistance.
The OAS contributed $25,000 US following Hurricane Maria to help Dominica with its immediate post-disaster response. In other major developments, employees of the Dominica Air and Seaport Authority have rejected a recent salary proposal by its management. This follows a meeting of the Public Service Union and management of DASPA after strike action by DASPA employees earlier this month over its outstanding salary proposals. General Secretary of the PSU, Thomas Leita, told Channel 5 News he was pleased that threats of strike forced DASPA management to meet with the union after a year and a half.
The intention was that we would have been able to draw management and the board to the negotiating table, and that objective was achieved. We were able to settle, that is when we met with the board along with management, to settle on a number of non-salary issues. However, we did not arrive at an agreement on the salary aspect of the negotiations.
Leita is expected to meet management of DASPA on Tuesday to iron out proposals over salaries.
At the meeting with the members last week, Thursday, they endorsed the position that the union was suggesting with regard to non-salary matters. However, the salary part was not accepted. And I have come up with different options, which I will be presenting to the board and to management when we meet on the 3rd, that is next Tuesday. So we have 3 different options. I'm not saying that that will be the end, because whatever is proposed would have to come back to the membership for their ratification.
While not disclosing details about the union or DASPA's proposals, Leita says the union's recommendation will be in the interest of both parties.
We believe that there is a way of moving forward and something that will be in the interest of both DASPA as well as the employees. One of the reasons why we will not give too much details at this time is because we recognize that this whole struggle has taken on a particular trend, in that members from the public have been using the issue to really attack the leadership of the union, and in particular the General Secretary. Not many people, but I would say some people have been doing it.
Dominica is expected to deliver a post-Hurricane Maria recovery action plan for universal health by the end of this year. Andrea Louis tells us more.
A team from the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, is working in collaboration with the Ministry of Health to develop this action plan. Team leader for PAHO, Dr. Reynaldo Holder, says work on the action plan represents the second phase of PAHO's collaboration with Dominica post-Hurricane Maria.
In this second phase, 6 months after the hurricane, is intended, as Mr. Letang says, to not only improve the recovery of the health services, but also assist in the transformation of the overall health system. For PAHO, it's very important to continue our technical cooperation on a permanent basis with the government of Dominica. As I said before, not only to recover from a disaster, but also to build the resilience of the health services and the system in response to these type of situations, and to transform the health system into a health system that is more responsive to the needs and expectations of the people of Dominica.
Health Minister Dr. Kenneth Dabru says the development of the Recovery Action Plan complements other advancements in the health sector.
I'm very happy that for maybe the first time we see such a large team of consultants from PAHO. So while some work would have been done years before, one consultant come to look at a targeted area, we now have a wide team that's not going to look at the overall picture. We think that this is very timely, this is very necessary, where we now have, well, because we have a number of things happening at the same time. The new National Hospital being constructed, we have the soon-to-be constructed Marigold Hospital. We have a number of our students out there training, that now is the time now to bring all the pieces together and to form part of a new vision for health.
Chairman of the National Health Commission, Dr. Dorian Shillingford, says this action plan is timely as the health needs of Dominicans have been changing over the years.
We have 5 generations living on this island. People with very different needs. We're faced with chronic, non-communicable diseases. We have had fewer infectious diseases. We have been able to control things like malnutrition in children. So the government recognized that, we need to do something positive to be able to deal with the situation in hand. And in that way, they established, or they haven't launched it yet, they created a commission.
The first phase of PAHO's cooperation with Dominica was immediate response to the disaster, providing critical support to the country. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
In more news, one of the communities which received a donation of zinc sheets post-Hurricane Maria is concerned that the quality is not up to government standard. The Tank Weld Group of companies based in Jamaica is one of the largest suppliers of building material in the region. The company donated 14,000 sheets of zinc to the country post-Hurricane Maria, which were distributed in several communities.
We gave them through SEDEMA, and they identified some particularly hard-hit areas. I think initially they told us that there were some 700 houses in the Kalinago territory. But since that, we've been contacted by the Minister of Housing, indirectly, I think, I don't remember now, that said that it would also be used, I'd like some to be used for communities in the south.
Roper says the Kalinago territory was of particular interest and he's impressed with the level of rebuilding there thus far.
Well, I have to congratulate the Kalinago people and their approach. We gave them what we had, we gave them what we used. And when I was here in January, 50 houses had been repaired. I come back 6 weeks later and 200 houses have been repaired. That's remarkable progress.
While grateful for the donation of zinc sheets, Member of Parliament for the Salibia constituency, Cassius Daru, says the sheets do not meet the standards set by government for its Build Back Better campaign.
We have since distributed this galvanized, and we have gotten rid of most of the tarpaulins, but there's still some more that we need to take care of. So we are doing that. The concern that I have, though, is because the Tankwell organization, they gave us some galvanized, but they did it really as a quick fix with no information as to what was really required at that time, as compared to now that as a government we are saying that we need gauge 24 galvanized to ensure that it is resilient.
Daru acknowledges that the zinc sheets have helped the Kalinago people out of a dire situation.
So what I may have to do is to step in and find a solution as to how we deal with those who may have had the soft or the 26 gauge or whatever it is. But it has helped quite a bit because many of our individuals they have moved from the tarpaulin and they're pretty comfortable now.
A trade union leader is cautioning the country against becoming complacent in securing the monies promised for its recovery. Head of the Dominica Association of Teachers, Celia Nicholas, while commending the progress made by the country 6 months after Hurricane Maria, is advising the relevant authorities to ensure the country gets the funds pledged to it by the international community in order to sustain Dominica's recovery efforts.
My only concern right now is that the funding that we get, or the funding that is pledged for Dominica, that funding is realized and we see it on the ground. I say that against the background of what I know of Haiti and I saw in Haiti. I was a member of a selective group, an international group. We went to Haiti and we saw. And all our questions with the amount of money which was pledged for Haiti, we were not seeing it on the ground. And I don't want Dominica to get into that situation. And I know people do pledge monies, and then when they go for the monies, it's a different process. You cannot draw down the money, or if the money is drawn down, then it doesn't go to where it has to go to. So this is my own affair.
On the issue of education, Nicholas believes it is critical that a policy be developed so that schools are not used as shelters for an extended period after the passage of a natural disaster.
This is very critical, and we really have to look at it very seriously, because, you know, Dominica is prone, disaster prone. And every time we have a disaster and it touches the country nationally, our children suffer because the buildings where they're expected to go to, they're occupied. I just attended an international conference, Education International, where I presented a document on behalf of DAT. And when, in 2 years' time, there's going to be the World Conference in Thailand. And one of the resolutions is the use of schools for shelters. It was unanimous about that other means should be put in place, because after a disaster, one of the things that you want to ensure is that your children are taken care of. And one of the means whereby the children can be taken care of is to be at school.
You're watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, a Dominican pilot and a former Liat employee has died. That and more when we return.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth, or call 445-5001, 275-5003 today.
Thank you for staying with us. A Dominican pilot who has been an employee of Caribbean airline Liat since 2008 has died.
The Antigua Observer reported on Wednesday that Martin Laville, who died in Trinidad and Tobago on Monday night, is believed to have suffered a heart attack. The Observer says Laville was one of Liat's Dash It captains, and when he was not transporting the region's passengers, he was engaged as a third-degree black belt instructor at Antigua's Shotokan Karate Club. The online news outlet says Liat's corporate communications manager has extended condolences on behalf of the airline to Laville's family and friends, while Laville's colleagues also took to social media to express sympathy to his family, specifically to his children. It's also reported that Laville's immediate family is based in Antigua.
Prime Minister Skerrit has reassured the people of Grand Forks constituency that government is monitoring the people's needs, and for the majority of Dominicans, housing is critical.
The Prime Minister was interacting with residents during a town hall meeting during the launch of what has been described as an ambitious housing project for Rivière-Syrique, Montjon and Grand Forks. Mr. Skerrit told residents he was in touch with the people's needs and was aware of what the priorities ought to be. The Prime Minister noted that farming was among his first commitments following Hurricane Maria because of the importance of food security. He says as a result, government has made significant investment to help farmers clear their land and resume operations. But the Prime Minister says while basic maintenance of the roads will continue, housing will remain a priority.
I know Dominicans. I know the suffering of Dominicans. I know the price of goods on the shelves. I am not far removed from people. I am not far removed from people's challenges. Because I go into people's villages and to their homes and see how they live. I make time to listen to people and their challenges. So I am not working on things from a point of ignorance. So at any time we have to know what the priorities are. We have to get every one of us out of this tent. We have to get every one of us, because some of us worry families, we are now becoming inconveniences to our families. And many of us like our own independence.
And residents of La Plaine, Dalis, Grand Fort, Rivière-Syrique and Montjean have been told government's new housing project is being built to the highest standards.
Project manager with the Montreal consulting establishment, Christopher Timmins, says the goal is to ensure the apartment complexes and the single units are able to withstand hurricanes and seismic events. Timmins describes the project as one which will provide quality housing designed for the next century. The buildings will be constructed using reinforced concrete slabs and reinforced concrete roofs. He says the structures will also sport impact-resistant safety glass and are expected to withstand the worst that nature can throw at them. Timmins says special guidelines had to be followed in determining the suitability of the location for these facilities.
That's news. Kenny Williams is next with the sports highlights.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fenced pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
First up, President of Dominica Olympic Committee, Billy Doctrove, says the organization has made major strides in restoring the people's confidence in it. The group has been in office 10 months now and pointed out it will continue to work in the interests of sports development here.
I want to thank the Dominican people for their support, because I know that this is one of the things that we're concerned about, that the image of the Dominican Olympic Committee and the reputation, and they have really accepted us and they have recognized we have turned the corner. And I also want to thank the International Olympic movement for having the confidence in us and recognizing that the Dominican Olympic Committee now is on a firm footing, well governed, well administered, and they have recently elected from the end of November opened up funding for us, which previously we were not privy to. But now we have this funding, so then we can really put forward a real good strategic plan and ensure our fleets are. I'm really satisfied with our 10 months in office, and it was difficult initially. It was tough because we had quite a few changes to make in terms of the management of the Dominican Olympic Committee. But I'm happy with the progress that we have made. I'm happy with the path that we have taken. And I just want to thank my immediate executive for the support that they have given me as a president. And they have really, all of us have basically have one thing in mind, is to improve sports in Dominica and to give the young athletes the opportunities which we know that exist out there.
Doctrove is proud of their achievements in preparation for the 2018 Commonwealth Games, which he believes is one of their major undertakings since they have been in office.
We have had a network of persons, all around the world, some Dominican, some non-Dominican, who have contributed to this effort. And I'm really happy with the support that I received as the president of the Dominican Olympic, in terms of, this is the first major meet that we have been undertaking from since we came to office. So I'm very happy.
On the basketball scene, we can tell you that Portsmouth Secondary hammered Isaiah Thomas Secondary by 53 points in the opening game of the Girls Basketball Championship on Tuesday. PSS handed down a 59-6 point thrashing to ITSS in St. Joseph to take the win. Kaylee Clark netted 12 points and assisted with 6 rebounds. Rosalinda Paul closely supported with 10 points and 6 rebounds, while Rowena Paul chipped in with 10 points and 4 rebounds. In a losing effort for ITSS, Shernese Joseph, Sujeta Coffey, and Aikisha Peters netted 2 points each. The games are scheduled to continue after the Easter break. We continue with netball, where head of the sport here says having qualified match umpires is one major target area of the association this year. She noted this move could help give the sport a much-needed boost.
We have challenges in Dominica, and one of our challenges is having trained coaches and trained umpires. This As soon as you become a full member of the international body, they in turn, as long as you ask for the help, they will send it to you. So this is top on our priority, to get not just to play netball, but to get trained coaches and trained umpires, because when you go to competitions, you have to pay the US $1,500 for an umpire. If we have our own umpire, we don't have to pay that kind of money.
Walsh urged local netballers to play with pride when they compete for their country and says the association is putting things in place to help in that regard.
And there are other people who think of us. You know, like there's this lady from Jamaica, she's the chairperson of the AFNA Organizing Games, Marva Bernard, and she, along with another one from St. Martin, they have decided that they can come on board. They can come in to give motivational speeches to our players. Because, you know, sometimes when we represent Dominica, we just represent just because we have the talent. But, you know, to be an ambassador, you need to have these people come in. I listened to Karina last Saturday with the women footballers. And, you know, she said there were challenges, you know, but leadership, it has to come from within, and you must have a passion for the game. So as you said, I do have a passion for the game.
Moving on to international cricket, we can tell you that Chief Executive Officer of Cricket Australia confirmed sandpaper was used to tamper with the ball and not sticky tape, as Bancroft claimed. In the third test against South Africa on Saturday, Australia batsman Cameron Bancroft was caught on camera seemingly working on the ball with a foreign substance in his hand.
The release that's gone out today confirms that it was sandpaper. I'm not sure that it's normal procedure, but I do understand that sandpaper is often in the dressing room or in players' kit bags in relation to looking after and taking care of their bats. No, I haven't considered resigning. I've got a job to do, and this only strengthens my resolve to help the game. I don't think that can be measured terribly easily, but clearly this has caused a huge amount of damage to the game of cricket as a whole, and certainly Australian cricket, and it's compromised the fans' confidence and faith in cricket, and it's really our responsibility, players, administrators, coaches and others, to reinstore that faith and confidence.
Following Cricket Australia's investigation into the matter, both Steve Smith and David Warner have been suspended for 12 months from all international and domestic cricket, while Cameron Bancroft's suspension spans 9 months from the same categories of the sport. However, they will be permitted to play club cricket, but will be required to undertake 100 hours of voluntary service in community cricket. Neither Steve Smith nor Cameron Bancroft will be considered for team leadership positions until a minimum of 12 months after the conclusion of their respective suspensions. Finally, in results from the most recent games in the Guineas 400 domino competition. In Zone A, there were wins for Dolphin, Tremors and 007. In Zone B, Strikers got the better of Fire Services, Swansea beat Bay Boys, Metrics finished 461 points ahead of Lindomart Homeboys, and Rebels got the better of Strikers. Moving on to Zone C, where Baghdad beat Warriors, Non-Players bested Furcus, and La Plaine defeated Strikers. Zone D winners were Taru, Valiant and Layu. While in Zone E, Wake Up Stars beat Itasi by 706 points, One Case finished 984 points ahead of Stars, and Rockers won 3007 against Roadblocks 2525. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Be sure to join us next time.
Do you need more cash for that home improvement? Then come to Fast Cash, where we give you more. At Fast Cash, our customers get more funds and more time to repay. But wait, can't come to us? We'll come to you, and our mobile officer will get you on your way. Small businesses, consumers, and taxi owners. Fast Cash has more for everyone. Simply call or visit any of our locations for more. Smarter, faster, better. Fast Cash. Terms and conditions apply.
To end the news, the headlines again. Trinidad and Tobago objects to Dominica's request to temporarily waive its OAS dues as it recovers from Hurricane Maria. Port workers reject salary proposal ahead of next week's meeting with Port Management. And Cricket Australia hands down a 12-month ban to players in ball tampering controversy. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Idona John Baptist. Thanks for watching. Join us again tomorrow.